Welcome to the very first episode of Life Backstage. I'm your host, AJ Rivera. Today, we have international phenomenon, Five Finger Death Punch. I get a surprise tattoo, and we'll give you a look at Life Backstage. Here we are, Life Backstage, with a few members from Five Finger Death Punch. Their previous two releases have gone gold, which is a pretty big feat in today's world of rock. And a new album, American Capitalist, dropping on the 11th. Is that correct?
October 11th, yes.
October 11th. What were your hopes for writing the new album? Like going into the studio, what were some of your guys' goals?
Well, we got together and we talked about, I think, wanting to make a conscious effort to have a higher percentage of edgier, more aggressive material. That was one of the things that we all agreed on. Goals, we had to we just work hard, keep your head down. There's always a deadline. That's the one thing that I find a little foreign, because why should art have a deadline? It's got to be great, and when it's done, it's done. But the music business is like, within a certain time period, we'd like to have this done and out for Christmas or out for the fall or out for the summer. And so, there's always pressure, and, you just have to work quickly. And that part of it is, I don't think that's ever going to feel comfortable. It's kind of like throwing darts. No, it's like, we sit there and we're trying to hit the bullseye, right? And then they go, you're out of time. And you go, well, we got 5. You know what I mean? And that's it. So really, it's really just about practicing to get better at throwing the dart. That way, the next time you have to do it quickly, you'll hit more bullseyes. What do you think about that, Jeremy?
That's really a neat answer. Next question.
So Kevin Churko, a big name producer, has worked with Ozzy and worked with you guys on your previous release, and is also on the new album, American Capitalist. Tell us a little bit about the experience of what he brought out of you and what he's like in the studio.
From day one working with Kevin, for me, on the last record, I said I'll never work with anyone again. I love working with him. He brings out the best in all of us. I mean, what he did for me personally, he's incredible. And he worked under Mutt Lange for years, so he learned a lot of great studio things. And he's a sonic genius, man. So it's so much fun to work with Kevin. He makes going to work fun. Sometimes the studio can get a little intense, but I actually look forward to it every day.
Great beard as well. Great beard.
He does have a really nice beard too. Yeah.
That's always a plus.
Jeremy summed it up. I think we're so lucky to have a guy who's that talented, and that patient with us, because we can test people. That's for sure. There you go.
Yeah.
Now, your guys' first album was like a do-it-yourself album, right? And that compared to a big name like Kevin Churko, can you kind of give us a little bit of a comparison of the two?
Well, like you said, it was do-it-yourself. I mean, we pretty much made, Zoltan and I started recording that record before we even had the rest of the band. So, I mean, it was really hands-on, do it ourselves. And, when we got to work with a guy like Kevin, I was so used to doing editing and chopping and fixing stuff myself that I was fully planning to do it again on that record. And he's like, that's included in what I do. I'm like, yes, I don't have to get wrist cancer anymore from editing and stuff. So that's cool.
Yeah. And so you guys went from recording your own album all the way to, pretty much superstardom right now. I mean, you guys have a huge loyal fan base out there, and I've talked to a lot of them. What are some of the positives and the negatives of getting so big so quick?
Well, to us, I know it seems like it's so quick, but I mean, we worked our whole lives, not only in this project, but in other bands that may not have connected. Yeah. So by the time we got our shot in this one, we learned so much of what to do and what not to do, that it was all a blessing in the way it worked out the way it was supposed to build us who we were today. So to us, it doesn't seem like it's overnight, but I guess in the public eye, it makes sense. But, it's all positive, man. We're experienced everything, man. It's great. You?
Well, I noticed that we're quite busy now. Like, we like doing all this stuff, but it's like back to back to back to back. So I do notice it's like the more popular the group becomes, the more in demand we are. And there's really only 5 of us. So, it's 5 of us have to service everybody else's, interviews and pictures, and I noticed that it's a lot. And you know how you like read stories about your favorite bands and how they're like reflecting back on, wait, we were just burning out, man. The constant touring and the constant fucking, and you're reading this like, you pussies. But and then now I'm kind of like, wow, I get it. We just get home and then we go to LA, do press, then dinner with the label, and then back on a plane, then out here to play a gig, then back, and then blah blah blah. And just putting the concert together, we're gonna have to do a lot of. We're very hands-on with designing the stage and the the video elements and the extra segues and the intro tapes and stuff like that. So it's like, I'm noticing that we're busy. What about you, Chris?
Just another day for me, really. I mean, I'm kind of taking it in stride. No, I mean, the biggest change for me is going into this. I realized, I thought I realized the scope of the project, but getting out in front of the people here, I mean, you really get to appreciate how deeply you affect people's lives. I mean, I'm within the circle here. It feels just like any other band I've been in. You go in, you play your show, you hang out, whatever. But there's so much stuff going on around at this level. It feels like I'm in a hurricane. I'm in the eye of the storm. Everything's nice and calm and peaceful here, but so much stuff going on. I mean, that seems to be the biggest change for me, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's actually a perfect lead into my next question. Chris is a new member. How did you guys meet him, and what was it like molding him into the band?
Why don't we let him tell the story, because it's a great story.
Well, I'd heard that they were looking for a bassist. I heard pretty quickly after the other guy left, and was putting my name out there through friends of theirs, basically trying to get my name in there. Never heard nothing. And finally, I was just like, maybe I need to focus on something else. What's going to happen? So I literally got to a point where I had all my stuff on Craigslist. I was ready. I was like, oh great, I'm focusing on this now, putting new things. And then I went to go see System of a Down at the Palms, and I was watching the band on stage. Turned around, looked at the crowd, and like something hit me. It's like, if you want this, go get it. So literally that night, I went home and Facebooked Jason. Pretty much, very very confident message. Hey, I'm the guy.
I admire anyone who reaches out and tries to, bridge a gap. I admire that, because I had to do a lot of that myself, being from Canada and trying to get situations and stuff like that. And there are a lot of talented, special people out there that just haven't had an opportunity to be scooped up, So my response to Chris was like, okay, cool. Can you sing? He's like, can I? And he goes, oh yeah, I can sing, I can scream. I used to sing lead in my own group. So, and then he goes, let me send you an MP3. And so he sent me an MP3 and I heard it. I'm like, this is probably the guy. Everything just seems perfect. And he has a really good vocal ability, which is something that we were, adamant about finding. And so, it works out. And he's local too, which, we would have taken somebody from anywhere. If they were the right guy, they could have been from Vancouver, Miami, New York. It doesn't matter. But just the fact that he's here, I say, God sent us Chris Cale. Back to you, Jeremy.
Whatever, he's all right. Welcome aboard, buddy. Glad to have you.
You guys have a really dedicated fan base. What are a couple of your more cool fan experiences?
Why don't you go ahead and start that one again there, buddy?
My fan experiences at this point have been, hey man, why'd you cut that beard?
Well, tell him about this morning on the internet, the tattoo.
Oh yeah, he sends me a message yesterday on the phone. He's like, hey man, somebody tattooed you on their body. So I went and checked the Facebook page, and literally someone had gotten like a caricature of me as part of Five Finger Death Punch on their arm. Yeah, that between that and the signatures being tattooed, that's a whole new thing.
Yeah, it's funny because I remember signing somebody's arm that they wanted to get tattooed, and then I'd come back like a year later, and I really did a horrible job of signing my name, and they got it anyway. I'm like, man, I got to start doing a better job from here on out.
Yeah, I kind of asked them beforehand, is this going to be tattooed? And if they say yes, I want to make sure I pick the prime spot.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, right here in front and real big.
One more question for you guys. Rock and roll music overall, has seen way better days. What are some things that you as a band and us as fans, what are some things that you think that we can do to improve the scope of rock music?
It's tough to say, but to me, always songs will win. If you put out a quality product, there's going to be an audience for it. So
Yep.
we strive to do that every day, and that's what we will do in the future.
For me, don't listen to what other people want you to play. Do what you feel comfortable doing, and put you into it rather than trying to be like, oh, I need to do this to make it sound like this. No, just go with it.
I'd probably say it's like darts. I would say that just people have to remember that if they don't pay for the music, then it dries up the very bloodline that feeds the artist. And so you think you're doing something for yourself, but if you don't feed the system dries up, and then there's no more music. And that's really important, I think. Right? I also like to point out that you're very organized with your little pack of white cards. That's very impressive. One of the best I've seen. I'm serious. All right.
Well, thanks. Before we sign off here, make sure and go pick up American Capitalist, October 11th. Go to the record store and buy an actual copy of it. Is there anything special that you guys are doing along with the release of it?
Well, there's going to be a couple different versions. There'll be a deluxe version and just a regular version. As far as pre-ordering it, you get like a bonus track or a free track that you wouldn't have got had you not done that. So be sure and pre-order it. And that starts on the 13th, Tuesday. Was that Tuesday?
That is
Tuesday.
Yeah.
I think you get the song instantly. It's called Instant Gratification.
Yep.
Track. So you pre-order it, boom, one free track comes back your way. So it's kind of an incentive.
Okay, well, make sure to go to fivefingerdeathpunch.com to pre-order the album and you get that extra track. A local company, Watto, has donated this belt buckle that the guys have agreed to sign that we are going to auction off, and all the proceeds are going to go to the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation in memory of 9/11. And with that, we'll actually say goodbye.